This is episode 2 of rescuing Ursula. Got her name there on the rewinder. There was only one screw holding this tank on, and you can see it's been ripped out. So hopefully I can, when I reattach it, I'll get 2 of the little shoulder screws. I unscrewed the one that holds the dipstick to the corner of the rewinder, and it was pretty much stripped, so I had to get some vice grips on it to get it started. And once I got it out, then you swing this out of the way, and then this came up like it's supposed to. I may replace this rewinder, but so far it seems to work okay. I did take off the incorrect spring, which is this one. It's way too taut, way too stiff. Looks like something came off the end of a ballpoint pen. Also, the more I look at this spring, I can see why it was so tight, because a lot of it is stretched out and hanging below where it attaches. So there's too much pressure on that spring now. So I will put a new one on there, or one from my supplies. This is the arm of the linkage that makes this a self-priming carburetor that works, and that spring holds this arm in place. And then as the muffler gets hot and warm, this arm is linked to an expanding coil down there, so it starts to get hot and goes boop, 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 and pushes this out of the way, and then that moves the choke out of the way, and the carburetor and the engine then runs at the correct speed with the right amount of fuel going in. It's not choked anymore, because this thermostat has moved the choke out of the way by moving that. But this spring has to be on there so that when the engine's cold, it sits there, and then it warms up and moves away and opens up in the carburetor. So that's where we are in a lot of this. Like I said, it's missing the bolt that holds or screw that holds the tank on. I've got several of those laying around. We're going to go in under this rewinder cup and take that nut off, because based on the condition of that blade, I've got to think that the flywheel key's probably messed up. So let's do that, and we're gonna see what's what. So let me set the phone down, and I'm gonna get an impact wrench to get that nut off. Bear with me, I've got to go around and get that. I think I've got enough room, but I'm going to clean all that out. If you're doing this at home, just make sure that you've got enough room on that nut. I put my ear protection on. There it is. Get this impact wrench on here. Got the nut off. Look under here. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like it's off too bad. Get a better wire brush than that one. Yeah, it's knocked off. Let me get the camera and I'll show you what I mean. So the timing on this is not going to be correct. So they've hit something hard enough to where that flywheel key has been bumped to the side. So you've got to take this flywheel off and replace that flywheel key, because it's not going to be running very well as it is. You want everything with the ignition to be just right, and you can see that's not lined up because I can actually put a fingernail in there, and that shouldn't be that way. So let's see if we can get this flywheel off without too much trouble. The coil, I don't know if those are original screws or not. They sure don't look like it. But let's see if we can get this flywheel off. I'm going to squirt some JB Blaster in here to assist me a little bit. Get this penetrating oil down in there. And then I'm going to get me a fine bladed screwdriver or maybe a pocket knife or something. Let's see. There's my pocket knife. You go around this, scrape the crud away. I'll show you what I'm doing. So I've got my JB Blaster sprayed around the edge, but I really want it to penetrate and break through that rust, so I'm just kind of scrape around here with this knife point so it penetrates a little better. All right, while I'm getting over the things, it's doing its little bit of magic there. I use the pterodactyl method of getting this flywheel off, and that means a big heavy hammer, and I've got to find a place to come in where I can get under there with a lever, and I'm going to put the nut back on there, go down a couple of spins. So it's slightly below the threads. So I got my nut on there, slightly below the threads, maybe 1 or 2 threads showing. And now I'm going to get a copper slug. This is some copper. It's double in charge to protect this, because whatever's going to go is not going to be steel. It'll be this copper that's bending. When I hit it with the heavy hammer, this is a axle from an old self-propelled lawnmower. I've saved several of these just for this purpose, and that's to get leverage on this. And we come in here, and you see that flywheel start to move up and down a little bit. That to me is natural. And now I'm going to come in and hit this. There's one. Okay, it didn't break loose, so now I'm going to move it just a little bit. Put my little copper slug back on there. Back again, I'm going to pop it again. just going to pop it again. Interestingly, the key to getting these off isn't so much how hard you hit it, as much or more as how much pressure you're putting on this lever. So I'm going to make sure I'm pressing real good down on it. Okay, let's take a few more. That did it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It kind of popped up there. Get my little copper slugs off. Oops, you can see it move. My leaf debris. Get the nut off of there. Let me get one of them up. See if this will. Things on there pretty snug. Kind of get my nut off. This thing's really wanting to move on me. Let me set the camera down. This will keep it from running. The flywheel. And the flywheel key didn't stay in the flywheel, it's on the crankshaft. Get that off there. There's the flywheel key. Doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape. Might even reuse that. It's just been bumped real hard. You can see maybe see that shiny edge there. So, got that. And now we're going to put that flywheel key in the right position. Get a little screwdriver, clean that channel out. And cleaning the channel where the flywheel key is going to go. There's some of the gunk I'm getting out. Leaves off in here. Okay, so I lined up the groove on the flywheel, the groove on the crankshaft. I'm going to flip I'm going to flip this over. You can kind of tell the way it was in there. Well, the shiny part was touching the crankshaft, and the outer part is where all the dirt is. So if I flip it over this way, I'm going to put the dirty part down in there. And I think this will be okay. It was just bumped real bad, but it wasn't sheared. This definitely needs to be, doesn't need to come out of there. Okay. I don't like that. Flip it over. It's been bumped pretty good. Try it this way. Okay, that's in there pretty good. I still don't like that. Okay, let me show you what I got here. So I've got my flywheel key in there now, and it was snug going in, so that's good. That tells me that that's going to hold. So that should be fine. I'm going to sign off for now, and when you come back, we'll be working on some other things.